Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again as we broadcast live from 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook out here at Natty Oaks at the intersection of National and Oklahoma in West Allis. Come hang out with us and all the different fan personalities as well. Tommy Wirtz is out here hanging out. Josh Albrecht is out here as well. And meet all the fun personalities out here. Plus, still got a couple of Euchre Magic t-shirts out here for you to have as well that the fan puts out. We've had these at the last couple of remotes that we've had out at Kelly's Bleachers.
At the end
we'll hopefully have these.
At the end of Tommy's leadoff show there, we had April call in. She is in Chippewa Falls, but she was asking about the Euchre Magic shirts. Sparky, we got a lot of people asking about these that aren't able to get out to these remotes that are a little far away.
Chippewa Falls. How far away is that, man?
Too far. That's what she was like. I saw them online. She's like, I don't know if I can get out today. I don't know if I can get out to Natty Oaks, but I want one of them shirts. She called the fan line, did say that.
Really?
Yep.
Chippewa Falls from Natty Oaks, 3 hours and 45 minutes.
That's a hike. That's a hike.
Woo! That is, yeah, you go ahead, man. That is 3 hours and 45 minutes to Chippewa Falls. That is a drive and a half. That is true dedication for a t-shirt as well. 1 second. Hold on here, Charlie. There, that was on the radio. How did that sound?
That was pretty good.
So this is the one thing when we talk about these Euchre Magic shirts. I'm hoping, I can't promise this, but I'm hoping if this team wins and gets to the next round, I'm hoping we order some more so we have some more to give away. You know, because the initial batch we bought, we got quite a few, but we're going through these things like water, man. These things are popular, Charlie, using like you pointed out.
I mean, they're awesome. I think they look great. I mean, it's a great message. We're just sharing this Euchre Magic that everybody's feeling right now. You got to come and get one.
No doubt about it. Hey, if you love Wendy's classic chocolate vanilla frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. It's the same creamy treat you've always loved, now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Well, okay, we've got the Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie, batter, and caramel, and now the Frosty Fusions at Wendy's. That's Oreo brownie, caramel crunch that has pieces of toffee in it, and Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. It's gotta be Wendy's. It is 4 o'clock, and that can only mean one thing. That means it is time for our Green and Gold update.
It's time for your Green and Gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan with Steve Sparky Fifer.
All right, time to get to our Green and Gold update here. And as always, because they are just amazing to me, we have the injury report that we got in from the Green Bay Packers right before we started this segment. I really love it. Sarah Quick does an amazing job for the media relations team, always making sure we have this before we get to our Green and Gold update at 4 o'clock. My dad texted me earlier, Charlie, and he's like, the Packers traded for Joe Flacco.
Close.
Like, no.
He's close.
No. I was like, no, they didn't. No. Joe Flacco got traded to the Bengals. The Bengals play the Packers. He's like, oh, yeah, my hearing's not the best. That's probably what happened. I was like, yeah, that's
He was excited. He thought Jordan Love was going to get taken out, man.
Yeah, he could have been fired up for sure if that would have happened, but no, it's not happening. Okay, so here we are for Wednesday, and what we got here, limited participants. Let's talk about who did not participate. Anthony Belton did not participate. The rookie tackle did not participate. Devontae Wyatt, the defensive lineman, still out with that knee injury that just occurred last week prior to the game. He did not participate as well. That's all, just those two. Now, limited participation, a host of people, right? Aaron Banks, Ngabare, Hobbs with that concussion. They really, we're talking about who they really have to have. I'd really like to have Hobbs instead of Carrington Valentine having to deal with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, Charlie.
It would be nice. Nate Hobbs, like Aaron Banks, both those guys are the big free agent signings, and yet neither one of them have really proved why they should have been those big free agent signings. starting to get a little frustrating. I know injuries are something that it's hard to control, but for these two guys, when you are supposed to kind of help shore up both those units that I think had question marks at the beginning of the season, and you just aren't out there consistently, that becomes frustrating very quickly, especially when both of you guys, at least in Nate Hobbs' case, is replacing another player that is also injury prone in Jair Alexander in this defense.
Correct. So I think Hobbs is a really big deal here. If they can get Hobbs back from that concussion against the Bengals on Sunday, that'd be a big deal. Green Bay football postgame show immediately following that game on Sunday between Green Bay and Cincinnati. I am off as I will be at the game coming up on Sunday with the family. So if you see me walking around Lambeau Field, feel free to say hi. I will not be carrying Euchre Magic shirts with me, Charlie. So please do not ask me for a Euchre Magic shirt. I am not carrying around a bag of them. Is that fair?
I guess that's fair, but I also feel like you should probably just carry around just in case, Sparky.
Not sure why I even asked your opinion. Now, I will tell you that it's going to be Tommy Wirtz and Mitch Thunder Nellis doing the Green Bay football postgame show coming up on Sunday after the Packers and Bengals play. So make sure after that final buzzer sounds, make the switch over, hear from Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur. They'll take your calls, your texts, all that fun stuff. So, again, after the Packer game on Sunday, switch over to Tommy Wirtz and Mitch Thunder Nellis. All right, also limited participant, right quadricep, Brandon McManus. I'm going to act like that one's not even there because I don't even want to know what the possibilities are if he can't play. Jacob Monk is in that designated to return from injured reserve, so he's got a 20-day practice window right now. So he is currently listed as limited with a hamstring. Jordan Morgan, full participant, so that's good. Zach Tom, oblique, still limited participant. Rasheed Walker, quadricep, limited participant. Christian Walker is in that practice window as well. He's got 21 days. Savion Williams, the rookie wide receiver with a groin injury, limited participant. And Devontae White, as I mentioned, did not participate. I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure there are other teams around the NFL as beat up as the Green Bay Packers, but this feels like an awfully long injury list coming off of a bye week, Charlie.
What's new? This is what we've seen from this Packers team the first couple of weeks. And I know you're coming off that bye week and you're hoping that that leads to you being healthier. At the same time, a lot of the injuries these guys were dealing with were ones that were going to affect them for a multiple week period, are stuff that's going to linger throughout a season. So I don't know if all this is true injury reporting or really just being cautious with some of these guys and some of these smaller things that could eventually become bigger things. And I think that's something that as Packers fans, you have to look at and not be too worried about. Oh, right away. Brewers are getting going, baby.
Yeah, your guy, Christian Yelich, in the leadoff spot with the leadoff.
There you go,
Still
Sparky.
rather would have had him batting 3 or 4. I'm not changing my opinion on that regardless of what happens. He still is in a better position. Drive runs in later in the lineup.
All the cheering distracted me, yeah.
Yeah, I had to put my headphones closer to my ears so I could hear you talking with all the cheering going on here at Natty Oaks in West Allis. Still plenty of time for you, right? This game's going to be like 2.5, 3 hours long. Come hang out. There's chairs available. Great food. I had a Philly cheesesteak earlier. It's absolutely phenomenal. They give you fries. Dude, they give you chocolate chip cookies with your meals here, Charlie.
You got to stop bragging, man. Like, any place that gives chocolate chip cookies, that's
anytime you go to a restaurant and you get dessert and it's included and you don't, it's like a little bit of a surprise when you get it. It doesn't matter to me how great it is one way or the other. It is an amazing surprise and I will eat all of it.
Prime, definitely. Chocolate chip cookies with a meal doesn't get better than that.
No, absolutely not. So anyways, back to the Green Bay Packers. I got a feeling this is going to be a long-standing thing here, 4 to 5, of us being distracted by what's going on in the Brewer game. But the Packers, again, with this long injury report, is something that they're obviously going to have to overcome. I implore you, if you did not have a chance, to go read the piece on JS Online. I read it earlier from Tom Silverstein of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. It was the lead story prior to the Brewer game getting underway here earlier today. And you can still find it on the Journal Sentinel website right now. But Tom Silverstein absolutely went in on the Green Bay Packers and their coaching staff. The name of the piece is Packers Season in Need of Some Championship Coaching. And I'm telling you, he went after all 3 positions. He went after offensive coaching, he went after defensive coaching, and he went after the special teams too. And he really didn't go after Bisaccia as much as he went after LaFleur for pretty much imploring LaFleur to get involved and help. Because his point is, listen, there's not going to be a better special teams coordinator walking the streets right now unemployed than what you have in Rich Bisaccia. Like, you're just not going to find somebody better at this point. So that makes no sense. To promote the assistant special teams coordinator, up isn't going to change anything either, because it's going to be more of the same stuff that Bisaccia is teaching. So that also is not going to improve things either. He also went in on a couple of other things too. He talks about the fact that based on stats, for instance, they have more than enough to win a championship. They are, as of right now, in offensive ranks, they are first in third down conversion rate. They are seventh in red zone touchdown rate. This is in the NFL. They are fifth in lowest interception rate, seventh in passing yards per play, ninth in points scored per game, and third in passer rating on offense. On defense, they're fourth in third down conversion rate, 14th in red zone touchdown rate, fourth in yards allowed per game, second in rushing yards allowed per game, tied for 11th in points allowed per game, 14th in opponent passer rating. And then from there, he goes on again to absolutely tear apart LaFleur and his coaching. And there was something that I thought was really good as far as end of game situation that I don't believe I brought up, and I don't believe that you brought up either in the game. So let me see if I can fast forward here to what happened. And he says, how is it the defense didn't know that when they were playing Cleveland? How is it the defense didn't know that it should lay on top of tight end David Njoku after he caught the ball with about 7 seconds left, so that the Browns, with no timeouts left, couldn't get to the line and spike the ball? Didn't they go through the exact thing a year ago in the season finale against Chicago after DJ Moore caught a 16-yard pass with about 7 seconds left?
That's nitpicking. It really is in my mind.
Yeah, but wait a second here. You played, right? I didn't play. You played.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that they should have known? Because to me, when I read it from Tom Silverstein, I was like, that's a fair point.
It is definitely something that they should have known. Don't get me wrong. It is a tactic that people use all the time in order to keep them from getting lined back up and getting another play in. You have to find any advantage you can in order to get that clock to wind down. At the same time, in a situation like that, where it is a late game, where there is a lot of pressure, when you're thinking about all these other things that you have to think about, usually it's not something that a coach is going to go and reprimand you for not doing later on afterwards. It's something that they'll be after the game when they're watching the film. Oh, that's a great job, Devontae's laying on top of David Njoku in that situation and making sure he doesn't get up. But they're also not going to be like, Devontae, you have to be laying on David Njoku. You have to be there in that situation, holding him down for 8 more seconds. It's more something that is just a good football IQ play that's not going to be detrimental most of the time if you aren't doing it. And I think, again, Silverstein, he's nitpicking a little bit here. That game, there were so many other problems than holding down David Njoku for an extra 3 seconds there. There were so many other things that offensively went wrong in that game that they need to clean up before you start worrying about that and saying that that's an issue with Jeff Hafley or Matt LaFleur in a situation like this.
But Charlie, if we take the Green Bay Packers situation and you compare it to the team playing baseball right now in the playoffs against the Cubs, and look at the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are in the situation they're in. Why? Because they're a smart baseball IQ team. Because they take the extra base. They know how to win and have the small details, or are involved in the small details that help them win games. Isn't it that how championship teams win? By doing the small things right? Now, you call it nitpicking, but when you're playing at a super high level, there's nothing to nitpick at.
I think championship teams that are built like the Milwaukee Brewers, yes, that's how you go and win the games.
Ooh, you call them a championship team?
I think so. They're playing like crazy, man. It's hard to stay away from that type of notion. But with the Green Bay Packers, their talent on that roster and in that box score is so much better than what I think a lot of people look at with the Milwaukee Brewers just based off the names that are on that roster. So the Brewers, yes, they do have to win by being the smarter team because they don't usually have the better power than the other team they're playing. They don't usually have more star power than the team they're playing. The Packers on defense have a Micah Parsons, have an Xavier McKinney. Those are two of the best defensive players in the league. And I think that when you have that type of play, you don't have to rely on your IQ as often as some of these other teams across the NFL. Teams like the Minnesota Vikings do a lot of the time defensively just because they don't have that same name brand talent. The Packers are better than that. Their roster says that.
You brought up Jeff Hafley. Let me continue on with Tom Silverstein some more. When they lost defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt to a knee injury in the Dallas game, it was a significant blow to their plan to defend against Cowboys' powerful offense. But the answer wasn't to curl up in a ball and hope you could hang on. It was to be proactive and do something different. If coordinator Jeff Hafley feels bad about not having any answers against Dallas, it means be it means he probably learned a lesson about relying too much on Parsons to alter the trajectory of a game. If he comes out of the bye doing the same thing he was doing the first 4 weeks, then he didn't learn a lesson at all. Unbelievable. I mean, it is scathing. This piece by Tom Silverstein on the Green Bay Packers. People are freaking out here about the Brewers-Cubs game. I obviously did not see it. I was reading.
William
the trader going back in the dugout. He's got
you're
nothing.
Gonna see
so
it
what happened?
right now. William Church hit a pop fly, and Bush lost it in the sun.
Why isn't that an infield?
I don't know
rule?
why. I don't know why that's not an infield fly rule, honestly.
Well, I mean, he obviously
he lost
trader
it.
came out to ask why it's not. And look at that. He's not even hustling. That stuff drives me nuts. He wasn't even running hard on that damn play. He was walking practically, Charlie.
I mean, I can't say I'd be running too hard on that play either.
I don't
that
care.
Was a pop fly.
Man, it's a playoff game. It's a playoff game, and you're trying to win. Look at that. He's still holding on the bat, still holding, barely running. Oh, it dropped. Now I better run hard.
To your point.
He's lucky he didn't get thrown out.
To your point, what Tommy and Josh were saying earlier, too, in the leadoff show, I mean, this might just be a lineup where the Brewers are saying, try us. We're going to send you out there to whoever. And you know what? They're doing whatever. They're not even trying. To what you said, William Chairs walked to first base, and the Brewers are still loading up the bases. This is crazy, man.
Euchre Magic. Say whatever y'all want. Get your Euchre Magic t-shirts today, because I'm telling you, that is kind of the stuff that's going on with this baseball team right now, where you get stuff like that where they lose it in the sun, and that happens. 1-0 Brewers. Frelick with a sacrifice fly to left. Yelich scores. You want more than one out of this, though, if we're being honest. You want at least two out of this, probably.
That would be nice. You loaded up the bases. They had a mistake. Take advantage of that mistake.
Correct. I mean, you got one. So that's nothing, but you would want to at least get a couple here if possible. And if you're a Cubs fan, you're not feeling too good about Jamison Tyon right now with all these base runners early.
No. Well, at least if you're a Cubs fan, the Cubs are probably going to come out and hit like a solo home run to tie the game the first inning and then not do anything else after. So,
wow, that's a bitter Cub fan talking right there. Yep. Charlie Usen. I want to go back to this piece by Tom Silverstein again. Halfly getting comments made here to him by Tom Silverstein as well, and pretty much saying he probably learned a lesson about relying too much on Parsons to alter the trajectory of the game. He comes out of the bye doing the same thing he was doing the first 4 weeks, and he didn't learn a lesson at all. I guess Tom Silverstein is probably right on that as well, that Halfley probably relying too much on the new toy and not taking advantage of the other pieces he has right now.
Probably, but I would argue that that's just not true. You look at how well the defensive backfield played in those first 2 weeks of the season, and you would say that Keyshawn Nixon doesn't just have that talent naturally. He wasn't a starting cornerback until he got to the Green Bay Packers. He was a return man, and they turned him into a starting quarterback and a lot of that has to do with what Jeff Halfley did last season with him and what he's done at the beginning of the year this year. Adrian Cooper still looks like a really great piece of the future of this team, and they've been using him in more dynamic ways since they traded for Micah Parsons. Same with Quay Walker. I mean, yes, you have to use a Micah Parsons more. He's one of the greatest defensive players in the league right now, might be one of the greatest defensive players of this era. You have to want to try to use him as much as possible. A stupid defensive coordinator would go out there and say, you know what? Yeah, he's cool, but I got 10 other guys that I need to get reps. No, it's Micah Parsons. You get him his reps and you make sure that he's the star in the field because that's what he is. Again, this is something where it just feels like we're nitpicking this coaching staff. Well, this team is good. I know the rest of the league makes it seem like they're not as good because everybody else is just kind of jumbled into this pile right now.
That's not why. The reason that the rest of the league is coming after the Packers or the media is because of how good they looked in the first 2 weeks. And everybody jumped on the bandwagon of, oh boy, they're going to the Super Bowl. They may be the best team in the NFL. Oh boy, this defense may be the most dominant defense in the league. They're going to be something. And then they stumble, fall, trip, and puke all over themselves against the Browns and lose that one, and then come back, and instead of learning a lesson, you struggle to tie the damn Dallas Cowboys.
But at the same time, it's small things. You have to think about also that the offense played out of their minds against the Dallas Cowboys, that the defense played phenomenally against the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns are one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL, and the Dallas Cowboys are one of the top 5 offenses in the NFL. You stumbled against those two teams, but you were playing units that are still some of the best power of those side of the ball on either squad. I mean, you have to understand that this team still played good groups. And yes, those teams, their records don't say that, but the situations and the way other teams are playing those two teams are showing that it's not as easy of a win as a lot of people made it out to seem after week 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's and that's very true. I don't think there's a lot to be argued about there necessarily. But again, I implore you, go read that Tom Silverstein piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Well done by Spoon writing that one. Highly critical of the Packers coaching staff, all three aspects of the Packers coaching to this point. Brewers didn't get any more other than that one run, so it's 1-0 Brewers. Cubs now batting bottom of one. We're out here at Natty Oaks, hanging out here. And again, right there in West Dallas, where National Oklahoma meet. Great food, great drinks. They got the games on the game on all the TVs. The speakers are turned up so everybody can hear it. An active, vibrant crowd here. So if you're looking for somewhere to come watch games, still got some chairs along the wall available if you want to come hang out here with us. More than welcome to do that. Still got a couple of Euchre Magic shirts left. You want to get your hands on one of the Euchre Magic shirts? You can do that too. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Potawatomi Sportsbook, right? The Potawatomi Sportsbook is our place where we always like to talk. Austin Herdina, he was on earlier today with Charlie and Tommy. And, well, Josh wasn't on yet, right? No, he was just on with
just Tom.
Just Tom.
I was there.
You were technically there.
I was hanging out.
Yeah. So he was on earlier making his picks for today's game and so forth. But the Potawatomi Sportsbook, lots of cool stuff going on over there. Want to hit up the Potawatomi Sportsbook for a postseason game but need a ride to the game? Hit 2 balls with 1 bet by hitching a ride on a Potawatomi game day shuttle. Make any purchase in the sportsbook or same-day sports bet to get a wristband and seat on the shuttle. Shuttles begin approximately 2 hours before the first pitch. Return shuttles run nonstop for 1 hour after the game. For more, visit Potawatomi.com. Bet above the rest for sure. And let's see. Charlie, you called it, buddy. Charlie Usen called that before it even happened. The Brewers take a 1-0 lead, and Charlie said, don't worry, the Cubs will hit a home run in the bottom half of the first. It'll be tied, and then the Cubs won't do anything the rest of the game.
Michael Busch, baby.
Michael Busch hits the leadoff home run. Now, hopefully, you're right on the rest of your prediction, which is they won't do anything the rest of the game.
We will see. We will see. I don't know if I'm fingers crossed or not. Like, again, I want to see the Brewers win, too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to see the Brewers win. But I really like the idea of celebrating on their field. I got to be honest.
You're a jerk. You would call me
as a
jerk
fan.
Before,
Shut up. Sam Brownell threw a no-hitter and celebrated at Miller Park. I don't want to hear about it.
Let them do that. That wasn't even against the Brewers.
I agree. It was a money grab. I know what it was. I'm just telling you that already happened. So if we can celebrate advancing to the NLCS with beer and champagne and spraying and plastic up in their locker room, yeah, I'm all about having that happen to Wrigley Field, Charlie. Yes, I am. Even though our fans wouldn't be able to do it with them necessarily, I still think it would be a pretty cool deal to have happen, Charlie.
Well, and the fans will be celebrating back here in Milwaukee, too. You already know. So they'll be celebrating in spirit with them.
Absolutely right. All right, coming up next, we're going to change gears a little bit. I want to talk about what Matt LaFleur had to say earlier today before Packers practice. That's straight ahead. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Natty Oaks in West Dallas. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Natty Oaks. Come out, see us right there where National and Oklahoma meet here in West Allis. Great food. Had that Philly cheesesteak earlier that was delicious. They gave you a chocolate chip cookie. You get fries. Whew, it was good stuff. Been drinking root beer ever since. Did you hear, speaking of which, we'll get into Brewers and Cubs side at 1. Bush with a solo home run to lead off the game, as Charlie predicted. Runners on first and second, still nobody out. Quinn Priester, I think, has some nerves rolling right now in his first playoff game. Did you hear this conversation they had at the start of 9 to noon with Kuhn earlier today? John Kuhn, Romney McElroy, talking about Pepsi versus Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And you have got to be kidding me that entire show is all about Coke ripping Pepsi. I went into there in a commercial break. I said, hey, what's going on, John? He's like, hey, Sparky, how are you? I said, watch the Pepsi slander. Otherwise, it may be over for you quicker than before you thought, or something. Some comment like that. It might be your last show or something. They all started laughing. I don't understand, man. Then I get here to Natty Oaks, and we're having lunch. I'm having lunch with John, and the waitress is like, oh, what would you like to drink? I was like, well, what do you have? And she's like, Coke products. And I just glared at John. He just busted out laughing. I said, great. I'm like, I'll have a root beer.
So you won't even drink Coke? Usually it's people who like Coke. So my girlfriend loves Coke Zero. That's her favorite drink on the face of the earth.
That's what I will drink. If I drink Coke, it'll be Coke Zero.
That's her favorite, but she won't drink any kind of Pepsi product. Like she hates Diet Pepsi, regular Pepsi, Pepsi Max. I think that's the Pepsi Zero or whatever.
That's what we drink at home.
She thinks it's disgusting. So she won't have it. But I love Pepsi. That's one of my favorites. I'll always drink Coke still too, if that's the option.
Right.
You can make that play. But yeah.
Yeah, Frelick just made a great catch in right field to save multiple runs. Could have been a double. Runner tags, goes to third, robs Suzuki of a double. Frelick is really good defensively. First and third now, 1 out. And don't look now. Quinn Priester gets a double play ball here. Only gives up 1 run after all of these base runners he's allowed. That is a heck of a escape act if you are Quinn Priester. Charlie, you're laughing at how good of a catch that was from Sal Frelick.
That's just nuts. Yeah,
sliding towards the wall.
That again, I've said it multiple times. I'm a junkie for defensive highlights in baseball. Those web gems, and that is a beauty right there, baby.
Well, I mean, there's been some crazy ones this year, climbing over walls and everything else, balls bouncing off body parts and still catching the ball. You want to talk about a web gem here? This has got to be one of the best years for that type of stuff in baseball, Charlie.
It really has to be. I think you're also seeing a lot of players that have very similar skill sets that all are kind of that quote-unquote 5-tool player, but they're not really masters of any of those. They're just jacks of all of that. It's really cool to see a lot of those players with that archetype.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I said we wanted to play some Matt LaFleur here. We're going to have John Greenberg from the Milwaukee Admirals coming up in just a little bit. He'll join us. Let's hear from Matt LaFleur. We talked yesterday about, is it benefit Packers? Is it benefit Joe Flacco, him getting traded to the Bengals and now getting to start against the Packers after he beat the Packers with the Browns? Matt LaFleur talked about facing Flacco again.
I can say that I don't think outside of a division game I've ever seen the same quarterback on a different team. So it'll be interesting.
Is what Cincy does offensively pretty transferable to Cleveland in terms of having this short week?
I would say that Joe Flacco's been playing this game for a really long time, and he's been in a lot of different systems. So I would bet that he would have no problems picking it up, even in a short period of time. I think the hardest thing for them is going to be just the nuances with your cadence, your snap count, the rapport you have with the other players. Now he's pretty fortunate. He's got some good guys to certainly throw to. So, I think either way, whoever the quarterback is, you gotta go against what they've traditionally put on film over a long period of time.
What is it like from your perspective, though, when you're
doesn't
preparing
seem
for that
awful
Bengals
confident,
offense?
if we're being honest. I mean, LaFleur himself just said he's never faced this situation where he's faced a quarterback twice on different teams, right? So it doesn't sound like he's awfully confident, like, oh, yeah, I've done this multiple times. Like, it's advantage us. We'll take care of it. None of that confidence from Matt LaFleur at this point. So we'll see how this plays out on Sunday. Like I said earlier, the Green Bay football postgame show immediately following that game with Tommy Wirtz and Mitch Thunder Nellis after the game. We'll hear from Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur. Take your calls, take your social media, your tweets, all that fun stuff too. I would be really surprised if Joe Flacco does not have some success against his Packers football team. And that's why I said earlier at 4 o'clock, Nate Hobbs playing in this game possibly, if that happens. Again, concussion, right? So you never know with concussion protocol. But if he were able to play in this game, it would be a huge bonus because otherwise Carrington Valentine, I don't care which one of Higgins or Jamar Chase he's on, is going to have problems.
That's true. But also, this is going to be by far the worst offensive line the Packers have played against all season. And I know we were we're not worried about the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, but what we've seen from them the past couple weeks is that group looks a lot better than I think what we expected them to be when they were going up against the Packers with the backups out there with that unit. With this Cincinnati Bengals offensive line, not only do you have like 1 to 2 guys out, basically that whole entire offensive line is replacement level players. They are not guys that you really want to have on the field protecting a quarterback like Joe Flacco, who is a statue back there. So if the Packers can be creative with Jeff Hafley and Micah Parsons in this defense and figure out how to get some really great pass rush, I don't think you have to worry as much about not having Nate Hobbs in a game like this.
I do want to see what Tom Silverstein pointed out earlier. You're talking about getting pass rush. I want to see how much differently they approach this, right? I don't know how many times it's happened. I don't remember seeing it happen, but have we stacked Micah Parsons with Rashawn Gary on one side yet to see what that team says, right? Rashawn Gary, hand in the dirt, Micah Parsons standing up on either side of him, waiting to go at a tackle guard combination. I kind of would like to see how the offensive line would approach that because I would imagine that defensive tackle is going to have a pretty easy time getting back to the quarterback because that guard would have to help.
Maybe, but I think with that type of setup, when you have a player like Rashawn Gary, who I think is mostly effective from the outside, having him stunting inside in any situation where you have a package that looks like that isn't really going to work out as well. So if you're going to do that, then most teams are going to expect Micah Parsons to be the guy going inside in any given situation, just because the Packers aren't going to trust Rashawn Gary being the inside guy in a stunt like that. So it's just a really predictable group. At the same time, it's Micah Parsons being the inside guy. No matter what, even if it's predictable, he's going to make a difference on the field for that team.
Right.
It's just about Rashawn Gary then now having to make a difference on the interior if you want him to be able to run that stunt opposite of what I was saying before, which you need to for it to work the best.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. And, the other thing, too, about this is Lucas Van Ness does his thing at the beginning of the year, and he pops, and he has some success. You need him to figure out how to consistently have that success week in and week out and not be the disappearing act like Rashawn Gary has tended to be during the course of his time. And it's crazy that we are reacting like this because of one guy being out in Devontae Wyatt. Look, if Devontae Wyatt's healthy, we're not having this conversation. And they probably beat the Dallas Cowboys, and there is no tie, Charlie. One guy not making all that money is the reason why all of this is going on with the defense.
Probably, but also this is something that I think might have been preventable before the season. You've talked about it. All their other defensive tackles are not the size that I think you expect most just regular defensive tackles in the NFL to be, let alone a nose tackle that you need to replace a Devontae Wyatt in a situation like this. So you could have made a move to sign a bigger guy to be that backup player in case a Devontae Wyatt gets hurt, especially since you weren't really planning on paying Devontae Wyatt after this season anyway. So go out, get another 1-year guy and figure it out afterwards. It'd be different if Devontae Wyatt was on a 4-year contract making $15 million a year. Yeah, I understand why you wouldn't want to go and pick up another player that plays the same position as him, but he's not. And he's a guy that you need to prove something. And right now he's not on the field, and he's just earning more money by proving that you need him out there.
Yeah, he's absolutely earning more money. The problem is, though, they got to stay healthy, just like Christian Watson. Hey, mornings can all start to feel the same. So if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's Breakfast. Try a breakfast Baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. Don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes and English muffin sandwiches. Doesn't matter what you go for, it's going to change your life. Well, at least it'll freshen up your morning. Ready for a fresh wake-up call? It's got to be Wendy's. I think the Cubs just got a base hit to score.
Yeah, my prediction was not right. Yeah, they scored 2 on that. That was Pete Crow Armstrong.
Ooh, Peter Armstrong did something. PCA. So 3-1 now. Chicago Cubs, bottom of 1 at Wrigley. And I think as a Brewers fan watching this, I don't think you're particularly concerned at this point that they got 3 runs, considering you've scored 16 in the first 2 games of this series. feel like you still feel like there's plenty of time when you're only in the first inning. And I think if you're a Cubs fan at this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, this is great, but this better not be all for the
We
rest of
are
the game.
not safe. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Right?
It's exciting to see that happen, but I am not feeling safe still. And it looks like
Quinn
Priester is
didn't make
done.
it out of the
Yeah.
first inning.
He was at 39 pitches.
That did not go well for Quinn Priester. So who's the move? Do we know who the move is?
Gasser, probably. He's the guy who's going to be the most fresh that has long relief ability.
Let's see if anybody there is going to tell us who is coming to the game, if it's Gasser
According
or not.
to Apple Sports, Nick Mears replaces Quinn Priester.
Nick Mears again early?
Probably just to get through the rest of the inning again, like last game.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Probably to go
All right,
one batter and then put in somebody else who's long relief.
Right, Charlie using there. See Sparky Fifer here. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 157 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Natty Oaks in West Allis, watching the game. Come on out, hang out with us. Great food, great drinks, right there where National meets Oklahoma, here in West Allis. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from Natty Oaks, right here in West Allis, where National meets Oklahoma. Great food, great drink specials. Got a watch party going on here. Members of the fan staff hanging out, watching the game. Tommy Wirtz, Josh Albrecht. I'm hanging out as well. Almost out of Euchre Magic shirts, though. We got like one left, I think. That's all we've got on the table. Went through a bunch today like we have the last couple of times that we've been out. So make sure to come take advantage of that. Brewers, not so good right now. They are down 4-1, still batting at the Cubs in the first. Unfortunately, Quinn Priester didn't even make it through the first. Nick Mears comes in. The first pitch he throws is a wild pitch. That made it from 3 runs to 4 runs on the first wild pitch by Priester. So Dansby Swanson up, 2 outs, runner on second. And Mears trying to get out of this with only a 3-run deficit after 1 inning. At Wrigley, so we'll see how that goes. A guy that used to work with the Brewers for a long, long time now, president of the Milwaukee Admirals. He is John Greenberg, joins us on the Fancast Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. How are we doing, John Greenberg?
Good, Sparky. How are we doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm not getting too excited about the Brewers one way or the other. You have 2 games to none. Even if this doesn't go right, you have plenty of time to finish them off and win the series. The Admirals, on the other hand, just starting off and looking like it's going to be another fun year as always. The season opener, home opener, comes up on October 18th. So that's going to be here before you know it right now. Obviously, I would assume tickets still available, and all fans get a magnet schedule courtesy of Pepsi, too.
That is correct. And indeed, certainly tickets available for that game and for all 36 Admirals home games during this very rapidly approaching regular season. And we're excited to get started this Saturday down in Rockford. Just been able to spend a little time with our guys and meet some of our new people, and it's shaping up to be another good year.
So let's talk about that, John Greenberg. You guys are the feeder system, obviously, for Nashville, for the Preds, which means that roster probably changes over some from year to year. So how many guys coming back on this roster did fans watch last year?
I think we'll have about 12, which means that we've got 8 to 10 new players that are going to be on our roster to start the year. Lots of Nashville draft picks that are making their first foray into professional hockey. And then also we've brought back Daniel Carr, who was with us about 5 years ago. He was on our team back in 1920, and since then he has been playing in Switzerland, and he is now back here again. He's a former MVP in our league, and I think he's going to make a huge impact on our team. So we're excited to have Daniel back, but also to see what all of our young players are capable of doing.
I don't think I've ever asked you this, and I've talked to you a bunch of times on the radio, but in the history of this Admirals program, since you guys took it over years ago, where are you guys from a age perspective, usually year in and year out at that level?
I would say the bulk of the group is between 20 and 25.
I mean from the aspect of, are you normally like one of the younger teams usually in the AHL or usually one of the older teams? Like, I'm sure there's a philosophy from the Preds as far as what they want at that level.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly varies in the league, but I will tell you that we have some development rules that are within the league where you can only have so many quote-unquote veteran players who have played a certain amount of games in the league. You can only have so many of those in your lineup every night. We are here as a league to try and develop these guys to get them ready to play at the next level. So there's not a ton of older players. I would say last year we were a little older because we had Cal O'Reilly, who was 38. We don't have a guy like that on the team this year. Kevin Gravel is probably our oldest player, and he's in his early 30s. And it's a little bit younger just that way. But, in the league as a whole, that development rule does kind of drive the average age down.
So John Greenberg, president of Milwaukee Admirals here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Fan. Sparky with you. Then what does it mean from a leadership perspective year in and year out as you transition through these rosters, as is professional football teams, I feel like, and professional baseball and probably hockey and baseball teams too, they tend to struggle to find leaders year in and year out. It must be even more difficult to do at that level.
Yeah, actually, we're lucky here because the guys who are our captains and are part of our leadership group, now these guys were all signed to multi-year contracts. So, they were here on two or 3 year deals. So Kevin Gravel, he's back for his 4th year. This will be his, I believe, his 3rd year as a captain. And then our assistant captains, they're both back into their 2nd year with our team. And so, that group is very important. But then at the same time, the young players who are here, you want to see what guys have that in them to become part of that leadership group. And that's an evolving process through the course of the year. You certainly have guys who have played as captains and with their junior teams or maybe on their college team. But, you want them to be comfortable once they get here to start to get into that role because you want them to develop that as one of their skills as well.
I want to get your thoughts on this promo schedule, too, that obviously is out. I'm seeing like the concerts are all towards the end of the year, right? Low Cash, February 7th. Gin Blossoms, February 21st. That'll be packed, I'm sure. Dropkick Murphys are always packed. That's March 7th. By design or by the fact that all these other bands are somewhere else when you wanted them earlier in the year?
Well, part of it is, we try to do our concert series starting in January. It's just kind of a better fit for a lot of the acts that we're bringing in. It's also better for, our prime dates are generally after the first of the year. We've got a pretty light schedule. Like in December, we only have 4 home games. January, there's only 5 home games. So it's a little bit of a lighter schedule that way, and the heavier schedule comes in there in February and March. And a lot of our bigger, concert night type things are going to be put into those prime dates.
All right, what's the promo that you've had the most response on that you put out there? Now, I will tell you, for my family, it's going to be Bluey Night. I know that for sure. What is it going to be for everybody else?
Yeah, Bluey has definitely gotten people's attention. That's coming up on November the 15th. So I would encourage families who are interested in doing that. Bluey will be there to take pictures and that type of thing throughout the course of the night. And it's always going to be fun. I would say that, the Gin Blossoms concert definitely got people's attention. That Drop Murphy's announcement, that absolutely got people's attention again. With the Olympics coming up, we'll have some fun with the Olympics come February. We haven't really rolled that out yet. So, there's going to be a lot of things that we just announced, just kind of the first pile of promotions, and there will be more to come for sure. That promotional schedule has got a long way to go.
I love hearing that. He is John Greenberg, president of the Admirals. Thanks for still coming on, and make sure to get your tickets. First game of the year, the home opener, coming up on the 18th. The Admirals open their season coming up this Saturday night in Rockford against the Ice Hogs. John, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sparky.
You betcha. There he is, John Greenberg, president of the Admirals, joining us on the Fan Guest Sideline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Prize Picks is the best way to cash out on the Packers this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long. All we're talking about here is daily fantasy, right? You're doing more or less stat projections on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Plus, they've got stacks this year, which means you can take one player, say Jordan Love, and go more passing yards, more rushing yards, or more touchdowns. Stack them up to 3 times with another player and have that lineup all set for you. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. All right, go Brewers. We'll see what happens. They're losing 4-1. Up next, the Fan postgame show here on the Fan, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM.